Hi there, chums. Today I'm going to review a film that I haven't seen. Well, I'm not going to review it, am I? I'm going to tell you about it. And the reason I'm reviewing a film that I haven't seen is because, I wanted to see it, but it didn't open anywhere near me. And it's another one of those small British films that I've been reviewing in the last month or so. That it's so small that it didn't even open in Glasgow, which is like my nearest city that I live to, so I couldn't get to see it. So if you live somewhere where it is showing, basically London, Manchester, or Edinburgh, then you can maybe go and see it, or at some point in the future when it pops up, you'll remember that I told you about it, and you might give it a chance when you otherwise wouldn't have. So this is a documentary film called Dreams of a Life, and it's about the most crazy story ever, and you won't even believe it when I tell you it. I can't even barely believe it myself. It's about the true story of a woman, 38-year-old woman from London, who died in her flat around about Christmas 2003, and sat there in her flat dead for 3 years before she was found, with the Christmas presents that she'd been wrapping still around her, and her TV still on and tuned to BBC One. And when she was found, in 2006, people were obviously shocked that how a woman could, lie dead for 3 years without being discovered, and how that could have happened. How someone can be ignored when they're, I guess, even just for one thing, that her friends didn't come and check up on her, because this wasn't a sort of elderly woman whose friends had all died and she had no family. I mean, she had family, she had friends. She was only 38. She was popular. She was into her singing and stuff, and everyone who knew her sort of looked up to her as the coolest person they knew. So it's kind of one of those things where you think, if it can happen to her, then maybe it can happen to a lot of people. But the reason why she wasn't found by the authorities is because they kept giving her second chances. So they were sending sort of final notices for her electricity bill and her rent and all this, and her eviction notices, and they kept letting her off. And one of the things that I'm a little bit uneasy about, in my kind of wishy-washy liberal way, is that maybe it's a bit too easy to make this woman, and I think her name is Joyce Vincent, so I should probably mention that. It's a bit too easy to make this woman a kind of romantic figure somehow. Like, we almost wouldn't care if she was old and she died, but it's the fact that she had sort of all this potential, and she was popular and cool and good looking and talented, and the fact that she died with her TV on, like, and the TV stayed on for 3 years, like, that somehow makes it more poetic and romantic, almost like it's a kind of, almost like it says something about modern society and how we're all sitting in front of computer screens and TVs and not communicating with anyone anymore, and sort of the apotheosis of that is watching TV when you're dead for 3 years. Do you know what I mean? So I'm kind of uneasy about it, that maybe it's too easy to make her into something, to make her into an allegory, or make her into a metaphor, or something like that. And I don't know if that's maybe doing her a disservice, but maybe it's worse to ignore her. Alright. So anyway, hope I haven't brought you down too much before Christmas. Everyone's pretty down at Christmas anyway, aren't they? So, But anyway, yeah, have a good one, have a good Christmas, and I'll be back next week with my rundown of the top 5 films of the year. So yeah, have a good rest of the week, have a good Christmas, and I will see you next Friday.